This is a Glassbox Media podcast.
Pros at this. Getting lots of practice, certainly. Oh my gosh. How was your weekend?
Oh my gosh.
What did you guys get into?
We had a ton of people over at the pool the other day, so it was crazy out there. And then on Saturday, we had our friend Lyndon come over because he's a lone ranger, so we just kind of felt like it'd be nice to have somebody do some social distancing. Of course, we don't have that big pool, but we have, enough space where you can kind of spread out, so it makes it okay.
Yeah.
So
oh, nice.
Yeah, so it's beautiful though outside. It was like freaking sunny and gorgeous. LA.
I know. Keegan, plant update.
Oh, plant update. I mean, plants are doing great. Cucumbers are coming in strong,
Nice.
Named them.
I've only named my basil baby, which I grew from seed. So I've got Henry the basil. I haven't named any of my other plants. I should really name my corn. My accident corn should be named at some point. But yeah, no, the plants are doing fantastic. It rained last night. I actually had to go move them out of the rain because I was afraid they were going to get too much water. So, yeah. How about you, Christina? I know that you've been working on your balcony or your patio area.
Oh, yeah. No, we threw down at Green Thumb like crazy. First of all, when I pulled up to that place, I was like not mad, but I was like, this doesn't look like so cool. I don't know why the garden party chat recommended this. Like, it's so small. And then I got inside. I was like, holy shit.
It's just like wall-to-wall plants.
It is huge. Have you not been there yet, Keegan? Oh, my God. It's ridiculous.
I think Anthony will freak out if I go to another plant store. If I bring more
Keegan,
plants home, he's going to lose his shit, dude.
They had, like, we have a lime tree now.
What?
I will say that's the one thing. So I don't think I've told the corn story. You guys know the corn story. But right. I have corn. The corn came by accident. It was accidental corn. So it was in my, I noticed a little sprout in my bean plants. So I replanted the sprout into its own container and watered it. And I was like, it's another bean plant. This is going to be great. And then as it grew, I was like, that's not a bean plant. So I messaged my gardening friends, and Christina's in that chat. And I was like, y'all, I think I've been watering a weed for like, a month or something. And everyone was like, no, I think that looks like corn. So I reached out to my grandpa, and he was like, yeah, that's corn. I grew up on a corn farm. Pretty sure that's corn. So now I have corn. And so I was going to give it away because Anthony was like, you cannot have any more plants. Like, we have too many plants. They're getting too crazy. No. We only have a balcony. And like at this point, both of my tomato plants are taller than me, and my cucumber plant.
Holy shit.
Yeah, my cucumber plant is probably like, I don't know, 3 or 4 feet probably. So he's like, they're going to take over. So you can't keep getting plants. So I was trying to give away this corn plant, and he was like, no, I want to keep it. And I was like, well, these are your rules. And so I say all that because he also really wants a citrus tree. And I'm like, well, you can't have it both ways. You can't say we can't bring in any more plants and then also be like, can I have a small tree?
Yeah, no, we got a small tree. It's around like 5 foot tall, and it was $30.
Well, citrus trees are great because you can get the like dwarf varieties, and they stay small. So they're like, they're bred that way. So they will only be like a few feet tall.
The only problem with having a fruit tree, though, is be aware that they do draw rats. So just FYI. Because we had a lemon tree, and like it was like a rat haven. Like they love.
Oh my God.
Sorry.
I just got chills.
I'm so
dude.
sorry.
Rats freak me out
Well,
so
you've got Villain.
much.
Villain will eat them.
The rats out here.
Dude, the rat that we had in
Bigger
our
than
house when
Villain.
Abby was there was almost Abby's size. I was like, nah, fuck that shit. Fuck that. Dude. Can we call your corn Malachi? Isn't that the bad kid's name from
It sure is. I don't know if I want that. Feels like bad plant juju. I don't know that I want to give that to my corn. I don't want to pass that on. Maybe I should rewatch Children of the Corn though. Surely there's a protagonist. Is there a good guy in that? Maybe I can take that name.
Remember. It's been so long. I just remember Malachi. Just remember that name.
Dude, I gave Eric a pass last night and said, okay, like once a month I will watch a scary movie with you.
Oh shit.
So you get to pick. And he double featured it. And we watched the Amityville Horror remake and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake.
Okay, so you watched the Ryan Reynolds Amityville Horror remake? Oh, man.
Yeah.
Is it bad?
Yeah.
Oh, dear. I don't know.
I've seen the original of both of those. Both fucking very scary.
I feel like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake is actually pretty good. Like, I thought it was all right.
It's pretty tense just because I don't like being chased. It freaks me out. But the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is around the scariest thing ever. So speaking of like bad juju, I'm like, I feel now that I made my house haunted by watching.
Well, you know what? Anthony and I tried to watch Suspiria, the remake of Suspiria, and I think I could get through it, even though that movie is far freakier than I was anticipating. It is incredible. There is a scene with a bunch of like giant meat hooks. There's a meat hook situation that happens, and so we were at that point when Anthony was like, "Can we not?" He's like, "Can we watch something?"
No, thank you.
Funny. So I may have to finish that one by myself at some point, but
you have like just balls of steel. Then I cannot believe like you can watch this stuff by yourself and not be like thinking that you're bringing the devil into your house.
Dude, seriously, that shit scares the shit out of me.
I mean, sometimes I still do.
What's the movie that I sent you the trailer, or I was telling you about? I think you've already saw it. The trailer for and
Fantasy Island that you wanted to see?
No.
Oh
no, it's I think it's on HBO or something.
You're talking about there's going to be a Lovecraft movie show rather.
Country. It looks scary.
It looks amazing. I think Jordan Peele is like an executive producer or something on that.
I think you're right.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it looks really, really good. I really, really want to watch it. But I mean,
scary.
I will say after I watched, maybe it was Prodigal. I think I told you guys about watching Prodigal. Which was scarier than I anticipated. I was like laying in bed and I couldn't sleep because it was like hot. It was like hot in the bedroom and I like couldn't sleep. And
that's the devil.
There are two situations in my bedroom right now that make it problematic. So one is I have like a maiden form like sewing mannequin in the corner, which is fine.
Oh, no.
But then like Anthony was cleaning stuff up, and so he like found a wig, so he put a wig on it and he put a hat on it, and there's like necklaces on it, and then he also bought, I don't know why, but from Amazon he bought like 2 Black Panther masks. I legit think I legit think he bought them with the intention of us wearing them out like instead of a regular mask to cover our mouth and nose. And I was like, I'm not going to the store with the Black Panther mask on. So he hung it up on the wall across from our bed. So at night, and then also I bought a full-length mirror. So I have a full-length mirror for the first time on my door. And it's facing like kind of like the bed, so it reflects the mannequin. And then there's the Black Panther mask hanging up facing the bed. And so I was laying in bed after watching that scary movie, just like slightly delirious, sweating my ass off because it was like hot in here. And I wasn't used to having a mirror in here. And I just kept catching a reflection of the mannequin and then the mask. And I was getting slight anxiety. It did feel a little like I invited a demon into my apartment, but
oh my God.
That's why I keep my mannequin in my spare bedroom.
No. Yeah. So now I have to think of like what I want to subject him to, like once a month, like a good period drama or something.
Course. For you, it definitely has to be a period drama.
Yeah. I feel a Jane Austen movie coming our way.
Has he seen Ever After?
Oh.
I mean, I'm certain he has.
Everybody saw
I don't
that
know
back
if
in the
Anthony's
day.
seen it, actually. I'm not sure.
Wow. We got to correct that immediately, if not sooner.
Speaking of scary movies, did you want to talk about the freaking ghost story? The latest ghost story on our Facebook?
Okay. Stop it. People got to stop dating ghosts. They have to stop dating ghosts.
Well, I just don't understand why they're always unfaithful.
Always cheating.
You know what I mean?
Well, here's my thing. It's like if you're going to date a ghost, because here's where my mind goes psychologically. I feel like you might choose a ghost partner or an object partner because maybe you've been hurt in the past and you feel like this is something that can't hurt you, right? It's safer than a human relationship. So why then do they always cheat? Like, what's wrong with you psychologically?
You make this cheat on you.
Yeah, because it is. It's in their head. I mean, God bless them, but yeah, I'm like, it makes me like sad for them. I'm like, oh, like even their ghost partners cheat on them. Honey.
Oh, honey. It's no bueno.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so that was out of England, right? That guy, so he basically was like, say, during the corona when they were on lockdown, his ghost girlfriend has been cheating on him. I guess
or I don't even know if he said it was confirmed. It's that he has suspicions. So I'm like, sir, you're jealous of your ghost partner maybe potentially cheating on you during the quar.
And how the fuck do you find out?
Yeah, you're not leaving the house. How do you know?
That ghost is like, prove it.
She doesn't have a ghost phone you can go through.
Maybe she's gone for long periods, and he's like, "Where you at?
Where you been?"
Because she doesn't have to quarantine.
That's right.
No.
She's like, "I'm not stuck in here."
As far as we know, I mean, science is still out.
Pass along corona? Asking the real questions.
Google. Dear Google.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't watch Plandemic.
I wouldn't want one to cough on me, is all I'm saying.
How many ghosts have been coughing on you? Oh my God. This is the real problem. This is what we should. This is what CNN isn't covering, you guys. This is the real news.
That's why you can't trust the mainstream media.
You won't hear about ghosts giving away the corona. You don't hear about that. That's what I want to hear about.
So everybody should listen to us, is what you're saying. We have a PhD in podcasts, so we're experts.
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
And now, excuse me while I go take my malaria medicine.
Oh, no. We're getting political, you guys. Watch out.
For Fuck, Marry, Kill, we should do ghosts. Like famous
ghosts.
Famous ghosts?
Yes.
Or like movie ghosts? Movie ghosts.
Movie ghosts, for sure. Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you've got like
ghosts.
I'm gonna switch it up. I'm gonna pick the Ghost of Christmas Past. He's covered in chains.
From Scrooge or
from any whichever iteration of Christmas Carol you choose. They're all described similarly. They're in like rags and they got chains. All right. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Ghost of Christmas Past.
He sounds spooky. I'm going with Ghost. I'm going with Patrick Swayze.
I'm gonna go with Bruce Willis from Sixth Sense.
That's a good one.
He's spoiler alert too. So
yeah. Oops.
Oops.
Sorry.
So he's dead, by the way. Yeah. So if you haven't seen that movie yet, sorry, you're like 20 years too late.
Yeah.
Can you believe that movie came out like 20 years ago?
No.
Yeah, what's his
name? Isn't that crazy?
I guess so. Haley
Joel Osment? Yeah, like he's like 35, dude.
Yeah. Dude, that's weird.
It is weird. Okay.
Well, here's the thing.
Is kind of hard.
Here's the thing. Ghost of Christmas Past is magic. So that's magic ghost, which adds a whole different level of ghostness. Because that guy can take you on time travel. You can go and review some shit in your life. So there's that. Patrick Swayze ghost, hot, but stage 5 clinger. Real clingy. Like, will not let go. Bruce Willis ghost, very bad at relationships. His marriage, a mess. A mess. If you watch that movie, the thing that stood out to me when I rewatched that movie was like, how the fuck did you not know you were dead when your wife has not spoken directly to you in months?
Yeah, like, that's a problem.
How?
Well, I don't know anything about that. I'm like, it sounds like my ex.
Wow.
maybe that's the shocker, the twist ending.
I think that I'm gonna marry Patrick Swayze ghost. He does hang on, but it's because he's there to protect her from that super douchebag. And he does
sounds like
leaving.
White Knighting to me. He's like, but he the ultimate white knight.
Leaving. But he doesn't leave until like she's ready, and he does at the end of the movie leave. So he doesn't stay forever.
Fair, and hot.
I'm gonna fuck Bruce Willis, the Sixth Sense ghost. He's too depressing to marry. And then I'm gonna kill the creepy ghost from Christmas Past. I don't want to go to my past.
Have you ever fucked a sad guy though?
No, thank you.
It's a bummer. It's not fun.
And it's cold. And it's cold. Can we talk about having sex when it's cold? Because people, I understand that it's not sexy to have sex under the covers, but I will have sex under the covers all day if I'm cold. I'm not trying to that's not fun for me. And Bruce Willis ghost, like, she is blowing like air through that movie. She is cold that entire movie, his wife, because he makes the room cold. And I'm like, I don't want to be around you. You seem like a bummer.
Yeah, there are two things where like I'm never ever going to be turned on, and that's being cold or being hungry. Like,
that's right.
Those feelings supersede horny.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm gonna actually fuck the ghost of Christmas Past just because I'm like, I feel like he can take me on a journey. It's only one time, only has to be once, and I feel like it's gonna be magic. Might not be good.
Okay.
Might be traumatic. Might be a bad journey. But just like doing hallucinogenics, you don't know until you try. So
that's true.
I'm gonna fuck Ghost of Christmas Past. I'm going to marry Patrick. I'm going to marry Patrick Swayze. I'm going to, he just seems like the best time out of the three.
Just spin clay with him.
Yes, he's extremely clingy, and it would probably become a little bit too much for me after like 5 years. I'd be like, okay.
But then you get to be friends with Whoopi Goldberg.
Yeah.
You're in danger.
Yes, but then your friend Whoopi Goldberg gets inhabited with your dead husband's body, and then I'm creeped out, and now I can no longer be friends with you. How could you be friends with her after that? I'd be like, I'm embarrassed and I need to leave this relationship immediately. But still, I'm going to marry Patrick Swayze. He's got good moves. He's hot. He knows how to work a clay wheel. I'm going to marry him. And then I'm going to kill Bruce Willis just because I'm just like, sir, like, God damn it. You're so sad. You're so sad.
Yeah. It's a real bummer.
It's a bummeroo.
I am going to marry the Ghost of Christmas Past because I fucking love history, and I want to time travel and go see all kinds of things when they happen. You know what I mean? I want to know what happened to the Roanoke colony. I want to.
I feel like he would have answers.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's got answers.
It's like my biggest thing.
Yeah.
I thought you could only visit your past.
Well, I don't know. That's all we saw in Christmas Carol. But, I mean, the dude's got powers. So who's to say? I don't know. We don't know where those powers go.
It could be like, when you date, like, the manager of, like, a restaurant and stuff. And it's like, You know what I mean? He's only supposed to be doing like this or give out this comp, but then it's like when you date them, they're like, here,
for
you know, I'll let this for you. I'll do this.
Yeah, there's and you know what? I do feel like Ghost of Christmas Past has real like for you energy. Like I feel like he would he would be that way in a relationship for sure. Because you know what? Yeah. Deep down, I think he just wants to be loved. He just wants to be loved.
So I'm going to marry him, and then I'm going to kill Bruce Willis. I've had my share of sex with depressed people, you know, and it's hard. It's really hard. And
also a man who's not emotionally in touch with himself to know that he's dead.
That's the thing. It's like it's not even the depressed part of it. It's just like a total bummer and no willingness or introspection to like do anything about it.
For a therapist, he really doesn't have a lot of like emotional intelligence about himself.
Right? Know? Yeah, and then you gotta fuck Patrick Swayze and Ghost. I mean,
yeah, those hips don't lie.
You got to. No, that's peak Swayze right there.
Peak Swayze.
Totally.
Man. By the way, this is my worst date. I'm Cassie.
I'm Keegan.
I'm Christina.
We have some new patrons.
Yes.
Okay, so we want to give a shout out to our brand new patrons. Thank you guys so much for joining our Patreon family. So a shout out to Chelsea Cook and Natalie Limes. Hi and welcome. And we know that it's taken us maybe a little bit longer than usual to get out our patron rewards, but they are coming. We promise you that they are coming. It's just been kind of a difficult situation since we haven't all been together to do our usual routine every week.
Yeah, if you guys are getting letters, they're just from me. Sorry. Unfortunately.
And if you're missing anything, feel free to reach out to us and let us know. We guarantee you, if you haven't received a patron reward, it was not something that was intentional. It was simply an oversight. So if you have not received your rewards, please feel free to reach out to us. We will not be offended.
Well, you guys want to take 5 and then we'll come back with stories?
Sounds good. And we're back. Cassie, you want to kick us off with stories?
Yeah, here we go. So, quite a few years ago, I was set up on a blind date. I was set up by a friend's older brother who was also friends with my older sister. I guess my friend had been talking to her brother, and they decided that I should be set up. He set me up with a friend that was of his that had recently moved back to town. I was in my early 20s and this guy was in his mid 20s. We were given each other's numbers and set up a date at Applebee's.
Ooh, fancy. That was my first job, working at Applebee's.
I bet you saw a lot of good dates there.
Oh man, so many. That's where I met the guy who I had my first kiss with, was a fellow worker at Applebee's. And as we've discussed, real quality human being that guy turned out to be. Yes. He had a nice Fighting Irish tattoo. So that's how you knew he was solid.
A real A+ human. We met there and it was going fine. He seemed nice enough and we were getting along. I eventually asked him why he had decided to move back. He told me that he had moved there with a girl. She had started She had started talking seriously about marriage. He decided he wasn't ready for that, and they had been having fights about it. So while she was at work one day, he packed up all of his things and moved out.
Why would you tell your first date this? Why would you tell your date this?
No.
I really feel like some people are so fucking oblivious because it's like, did you really think that this information was going to make you look good?
Right.
Why would you reveal that? And how old is he? 25?
Mid-20s.
No, I'm sorry.
Still.
Like,
Still.
I'm saying 25 is way too old to be doing that shit. Like, way too old. Right. If you had told me he was like 18, I'd be like, all right, his brain is not developed yet. But he's 25, sir.
Sir.
Yeah. And it's like, that's how you deal with like problems. That's how you have such a fear of confrontation or real communication that you just got to dip.
While she's at work. Can you, oh God. We had told that story about the girl that was going to be Dude Face's boss.
Oh, yes.
Dude.
Yeah, I'm going to need his ex-girlfriend to write in her story. Because I cannot imagine anything worse than... And I hate confrontation. You know how much I hate confrontation. And I would never fucking do that to somebody.
She dodged a bullet, let's be honest. He said, quote, he really thought that he did the right thing. Obviously, we didn't have a second date. He did continue to drunk dial me for a few months. I still have no idea how two people were involved in planning this, set me up. How anyone could think this was a good idea blows my mind.
Gotta be honest. You should be questioning those relationships. You gotta be questioning those friendships at this point. Like, because...
It was like her brother and sister.
Like her older sister's friend, like a mutual friend of theirs, like their older brother or something. I don't know.
Okay. So it was a
somebody they know.
Sibling who set you up. I
hate this.
I hate it. Okay. I don't like that at all.
Oh my God. Why would you tell your first date that?
Because he genuinely thought he did the right thing. Talk about not having any emotional intelligence.
I know.
You know, like he doesn't understand. Like he's not ashamed because he feels like he did the right thing. What the fuck?
This is fine.
Wow.
Oh,
wow.
God, humans, am I right?
Am I right?
Okay, a little backstory. This was a email we received, by the way. A little backstory. I was engaged when I was 19, split up at 21, and never did get married. We didn't talk for a long time because of him trying to marry my best friend after me, but eventually he asked for forgiveness. You're like, I'm sorry, we can't just gloss over that whole section.
We're going to fly right past that, okay.
This screams small town Midwest to me, where it's just like everybody is friends with everybody, and so like you move on from one to the next, especially at like 19.
Yeah,
that shit.
But we've talked about that though. It's like, you know, dating like your friend's ex is
so weird.
Well,
so weird,
especially if you were going to get married. Now I realized she was 19, and at that age, I feel like it is kind of like a round robin situation at that age. Oftentimes, like people just like, it's like you have one group of friends and you got to like cycle through that whole group of friends before you venture out and start fucking other people. But
wow.
But if this is someone that she was going to marry, even if she's 19, my best friend better not. No. Bitch, you better not. Like,
no.
The fuck. But anyway, she says, eventually he asked for forgiveness and friendship due to other things happening in his life, which, again, stop using women as like therapy centers, okay? Like, this isn't our job. Because, like, you're having a tough time. Now I have to forgive you. Is that how this works? Okay. So my ex-fiance says, you should meet my friend Marv, not his real name. I think he's totally your type. I agreed to at least talk to him, and we decided to go get a drink. I get there early, and the dude is already at the bar on his second drink. Red flag number 1. We talk and have a good convo, but I tend to prefer really masculine men, and that wasn't him. Just wasn't doing it for me. He asks if I want to go to a different bar, and I initially say no, but he talks me into it, and I say yes because of the ex introducing us. Seems like the least I can do, honey.
Oh, it's not.
You have to stop feeling like you owe these men anything. You don't owe your ex anything, and you don't owe this guy anything. You just met him.
Yeah, also, if you're not feeling it, like, you're not feeling it, and it's like, time is valuable. You could be doing a million other things. Like, I don't know. My own experience was like, if you weren't feeling it at the beginning, like a couple more hours didn't really change my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also it's just like you clearly feel like you owe something to your ex who did you wrong. Like, you don't owe him anything. It's nice that you want to be friends, but you don't have to feel like just because he hooked you up with someone, you need to stick it out. Like, it's the least you can do. Like, no. We get to the next bar, drove separately because I wanted to be able to leave when I wanted. He again beats me there and already has a drink. And surprise, all the booze kicked in on his drive over and he's drunk now. I'm trying to make decent conversation. So I ask about his kids. He proceeds to tell me how he was, quote, trapped into having both of them with 2 different women and didn't see it coming. Like, I'm sorry, do you not understand how sex works? You didn't get trapped. You just skipped the condom and hoped for the best.
Wow.
Wow.
Upon seeing... Sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, that's another instance of, like, what did these guys think was going to happen upon giving their first date that information? Do you know what I mean? Like, that is an immediate turn. Like, that's how you're going to refer to your kids? Like, oh, I was... it's... Oh, my God.
I mean, this guy has the excuse of being wasted, at least. The other guy just thought that he was, like, a good dude. But still.
You're welcome. I'm gone.
Upon seeing my reaction, which I attempted to hide but failed, he says, "This is why I don't bring them up." What the fuck? You don't bring up your kids because you're embarrassed of how they happened? After this, I knock back the rest of my drink, and when the waitress comes, he attempts to order another, but I'm like, nope, gotta go. He insists on walking me to my car. We hug, and he tries to kiss me, and I barely dodge it. Next day, I get an apology / I'm embarrassed text. I say, it's okay, it happens to the best of us. Don't think we are a good fit for each other, etc. Very nicely. 2 days later, after not talking... 2 days later, after not talking for that long, I get a snap from him. It's a just barely dick pic taken while he is peeing in a public urinal.
Oh my God.
I don't want to picture your penis under normal circumstances.
Why?
Let alone one that's doing its job. But like, no, thank you.
No, sir.
Why?
Oh, no.
Ugh.
She says, I screenshot it and send it to my ex, his buddy. And the next day, Marv sent an, "I can't believe you did that" text to me and then blocked me on everything.
Wow. No, I can't believe I called you out on your disgusting behavior to your friends.
Gross.
And
What again? Okay.
made you...
Is the theme of this episode, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen, sir? Like, you sent somebody not only an unsolicited dick pic after she'd already explicitly told you she's not interested in you romantically, but you took a picture of yourself peeing.
Peeing.
Who wants that? Who would want that? What did you think that was going to accomplish?
No one wants a picture of that.
And if they do, they'll ask you for it.
They will.
Okay? If that's what
sure
they're into,
will.
they'll let you know.
That's so, like, I got a lot of dick pics in my day, and they're always, like, hard. Nobody, why is somebody sending
loose
a
dick?
soft that's peeing?
I hate
so
floppy dick?
I fucking hate it. This is horrible.
A floppy dick.
I hate it. It's awful.
Oh, my God.
Ugh.
Okay. Well, mine's pretty tame, but for some reason, Cassie, I don't know why I think that, like, your kindred spirit wrote this, because
Got it.
This one's for you.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Balloons.
Worst date I went on was a Tinder meetup. They were relatively friendly and took me to see a movie because they had one free coupon and I didn't have to pay.
I'm already like...
That's not a date. That's a grandma.
Yeah, what happened here? That is not a date. That's an act of charity.
Hey, Sonny, you want to go see a movie? I got a coupon.
Yeah, I need to give you a Werther's original, too.
Yeah, out of their...
No, she says... We didn't get snacks or anything. Maybe shared a beverage, if I remember correctly.
No.
Shared beverage is a grandma move, too.
Also, pre-COVID, you can't share beverages anymore. Come on.
That's right.
Can't do that. We went to see the Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was good, but I hadn't been caught up in the Marvel universe by that point. didn't know we were going to see that movie either. We just kind of decided when we got there. And when I told him that, he said this sequel wasn't that like in line with the story. So if you catch my drift, like I wouldn't be lost because I hadn't seen it. Watched it and it was solid. Like every Marvel movie, we waited till the end of the credits for the little blurb they put at the end, and it was something akin to all of a sudden everybody evaporated. And the whole movie is like, yay, we saved everyone's lives in the nick of time. And I was so lost because I hadn't seen the movie at that point and had managed to avoid spoilers. Cassie, here you go.
Oh, no.
The whole car ride home, this man is spoiling everything that happens in Infinity War, and I mean everything. And I'm literally begging him, like, please sir, let's talk about anything else, or just like not at all, but like not about, why do you have to keep going on about ruining this movie?
Shut up your mouth.
And he would reply like, what? It's not ruining anything, or, oh, you're bound to see something somewhere. And I'm like, it's not the point. So yeah, she just went on her worst Tinder date with somebody ruining Infinity War for her.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Well,
you know, people like to say that people overreact to spoilers, but I'm like, no, I'm sorry. This is a social norm we've all agreed upon in 2020.
Right.
You don't do that. You just don't do it.
A big fucking movie.
Unless the movie came out 20 odd years ago and that movie was The Sixth Sense. That's the only time it's acceptable, okay? If you look, I'm sorry, you're just a dick if you get on social media as soon as an episode of Game of Thrones airs and you talk about the episode. That's friendship ruining.
Yeah. That's just fucked up.
You know what? I might, if I was single, I might break up with somebody for intentionally spoiling shit for me. If it happened like more than once, I might do it.
Yeah. I mean,
yeah, because it's such a like really, douche move.
Yeah, it's such a douche move.
Inconsiderate. Truly inconsiderate. Do you guys hear the howling where you're at?
No.
No?
Coyotes?
That doesn't happen to
you
guys?
Is it the devil that you brought into your house?
Yes, it is actually. No, every night. Alert. I took a video of it, and I'll share it somewhere. But every night at 8 p.m. since lockdown started, people howl. They howl like wolves. You guys don't hear this? I can't believe Cassie doesn't hear this.
What?
Mm-mm.
It's a thing. There were actually like Facebook groups that were organized, like 8 p.m. howl. It happens every night at lockdown.
But
I don't know.
For why?
I don't know. Maybe people think that brings them together. You get to howl with all your neighbors. I'll send you the video.
Well,
there's Anthony.
Dude, we are grasping at straws if this is where we're at now, where we're just like I thought that this weekend when I had tears in my eyes when we were at the plant place. Like I was at a level of excitement that I haven't felt in forever. And I'm like, this is where we're at now.
Do you ever feel like you don't know how to behave in public spaces anymore? Yes. Like I went to Target and I was like paralyzed for the first 5 minutes that I was in Target because I was just like, where do I go? What do I do? I don't know how to Target anymore.
I told you about the woman that was full on, like, dead on wearing just a fucking terry cloth bathrobe walking her dog down the street.
God bless. I told you the guy who I saw at Ralph's who was wearing a full on, I think it was a kangaroo onesie. It was an animal onesie at the grocery store.
See, listen, I forgot to do laundry this week day is when that, like, what are you doing?
I haven't
it's
showered
just a
today
level of
at all. I'm in
no fucks.
I'm in like Bengal striped leggings at the moment. So
I'm solidly in my JJs right now. I mean, I have not washed my hair for a few days.
Yeah.
So I don't want to talk about it. But anyway, are you guys ready for my crazy in love?
Bring it.
Hell yeah.
So you guys know that I was all over the place this week trying to figure out like what to do. I was back and forth. I was really thinking we've done a lot of historic, stories, and I kind of wanted to do something fresh, but every time I tried to dive into something fresh, it made me super depressed. So I was kind of like, here we are with a history lesson again.
No,
because honestly,
you really,
I need something removed.
Yeah, and you have to do something that excites you too. Like, it's really important. Like, yeah, it's just, this is a lot. I think sometimes people don't understand how much like work can sometimes go into these stories, and you need to be engaged like in what you're doing, because I've sometimes picked ones that I'm only like very lukewarm interested in, and then it's just like I get distracted and I keep having to like remind myself to focus on writing it, and it's just too much. So always go with your gut.
Yeah, I was back and forth, looking at different ones, and then I found this little gem on a listicle.
Nice.
I found most of the information about this story on Wikipedia, a few different Wikipedia pages, Naked History, and the journal.ie, which doesn't give credit to the actual author of the thing. It just says AFP. So this is the Mayerling Incident.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay.
Dun, 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 the Mayerling Incident. This is the incident of the Crown Prince Rudolph and his mistress, Baroness Mary Wetzera. So, let me tell you a little bit about the Prince Rudolph. He was the Crown Prince of Austria and the heir in line of the Habsburg throne.
As we discussed, Habsburgs. If you haven't seen the Habsburg draw, you should Google that situation.
I always heard of that before.
I always think it's interesting, like, anytime you hear about like potential mental illness or potential these things with royal families, I always think it's interesting the amount of like incest and things that happened in these families that potentially could have caused these situations. So even though like this guy maybe was good looking, like the Habsburgs are famous for being like kind of wrecked because they were so so like inbred for so long. Anyway,
Prince
just
Rudolph
a little tidbit.
Prince Rudolph was actually quite good looking in all the pictures of him. It was actually quite good looking. He was the only son of the Emperor Franz Joseph and his wife Elizabeth, who also went by Sissy, which you may have heard of. I know she's got quite a story. I believe she was murdered as well, if I'm not mistaken. I don't remember the whole story. Anyway, he was born in 1858. He was one of two children. Again, he was the only son. He grew up with his sister, but his whole life was dedicated to being like raised to take over the throne as the king or the emperor one day, the king of, or emperor, I'm sorry, of Austria one day. So, he had a lot of pressure in this role to marry well and to, again, grow up, take over this role of running the kingdom. And he met Princess Stephanie of Belgium in 1880. He had met Stephanie because of an invite that he got from her father, Leopold II. After their initial meeting,
Stephanie it's like Princess Jessica. You know what I mean? Like it's such a modern name.
Princess Lisa.
I also feel bad for royalty because they're like trained their whole time to be royalty, and I'm like, what if he wanted to be a dentist?
No, there's no dentistry in your future, sir. You will. This is your job.
A dentist? What?
Eyes completely spin out.
Sorry.
After their initial meeting, he had written to his mother, Sissy, that he had, quote, found what he sought and that she was, quote, pretty, good, and clever. His options, though, truly were running slim, as there were few options for Catholic princesses at the time. And the pressure, again, for him to be married was really, he was being put on the spot to marry soon. So on May 10th, 1881, Rudolph married Princess Stephanie. What had happened though, was that in 1880, when he met her, she was 15 years old, and she was invited initially to come to Austria right away and to learn the ins and outs of, the court, etc. But
Where was she from?
Found out She's from Belgium.
Okay.
Je suis belge. Like me. I am Belgian. Anyway, she went to Austria to learn, like I said, the ins and outs of, becoming a princess of Austria. And they quickly learned that she had absolutely no understanding of herself or anything. She was very kind of backward, and that she hadn't even had her period yet, that she hadn't even come of age. So they sent her back and were like, hey, we're gonna let this one sit for a little while. It's not done yet. And then you can send it back when it's ready. So
can't have babies, so she's useless. Ding. So
yeah, pretty much.
Put that back in the oven for a bit. Great, thanks. So Sissy, though, the prince's mother, was never a big fan of this match at all. As a Belgian monarch, the Belgian monarchy at the time was fairly young. It was, compared to the Habsburg dynasty, it was not very, in her eyes, a suitable match. And she had said it was basically an inferior match.
I'm sorry. Have you looked at your ancestors' portraits? Because I have, and I don't think you can sit in judgment, sissy. Now, listen, I know that Elizabeth was like a famous beauty or whatever, but I'm just saying, maybe turn that finger around. That's all.
Yeah. And also, if you don't like it, then find somebody better. But obviously, there's zero options at this point.
Options are. I think there were a couple infants available at the time.
What is it, r/beggars choosers?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Though the marriage at first was pretty happy, she was never really, again, fully welcomed by Rudolph's mother, Sissy, who commonly referred to her as, quote, an clumsy oaf. Could you fucking imagine?
It's the mother-in-law from hell.
Yeah, I'm surprised the story doesn't end in the murder of Sissy.
Right. They also had differing views. So Stephanie had come from a very conservative background in which she embraced, and that clashed with Rudolph's way more liberal tendencies. The marriage soon drifted apart after the birth of their daughter in 1883, and Rudolph turned to drink and women, but both had reportedly had affairs. Both of them, I think, at that point were just kind of like, you know what? This ain't for me. So I think they both reportedly kind of strayed from each other.
Keep it open. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
have houses across the street.
Working. That's right.
You're fine.
Well, speaking of houses across the street, he actually, in 1886, bought a hunting lodge in Mayerling.
Oh my God, I thought you said a haunting lodge, and I was like, intriguing.
He goes and haunts the lodge.
So many ghosts to cheat on him. Yeah.
This is basically a getaway of sorts where he could, kind of escape the eye of the courts, and, the scrutiny of his drinking and cavorting wouldn't be, directly upon him. The Baroness, Marie Witzera, is said to have met the prince in 1888. And after a 3-month affair, there are many accounts that said that they had been in an ongoing 3-year affair, which would have made her only 15 at the time of their initial meeting. So Mary,
how old was he? Like in his 30s?
He was 30 at the time.
So twice her age.
Legitimately. Well, when she was 17, he was 30. So
close enough.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So one night, after an evening at dinner with his parents on January 29th in 1889, he excused himself to his lodge in Mayerling, where he was to meet up with his 17-year-old mistress, Mary. There is much speculation on the events of that followed, but what we do know for sure is that on the January 31st, Rudolph was supposed to go hunting with some friends, and his valet was not able to find him. So he contacts the Count Joseph Hoyos, who was supposed to be on the hunt with him that day. They searched the entire lodge for him, and they ended up having to beat down his door with an axe to find the prince and his mistress both dead. The body of his mistress was on the bed, apparently cold and stiff. He lay on the floor on his side, and there was blood trickling out of his mouth. Now, initially, it looked to like the two of them as though this had been like a murder-suicide, or it had been some type of suicide on both of their parts, or something. Whatever it was foul play. There's two people who are dead here. They didn't just die of heart attacks at 30 and 17.
Right. And the door was locked, you
right.
know. They had to beat the door down.
Exactly. So it wasn't, I mean, obviously it's locked from the inside, not the outside. So there's a lot of speculation, though, on exactly what happened. Initially, Hoyos had said that he thought they had both taken strychnine. He noticed that there was blood coming out of his mouth, and he thought that it was probably a poisoning of some sort. But this is a kind of a thing that the royal family was like, we can't let this go, be public. So Hoyo secretly lets Sissy know what's going on. Sissy then has to tell the emperor what happens. And by the way, this is how Franz Ferdinand takes the empire, because there is no longer an immediate direct heir from his line. So it goes to his brother's son. Right. So
instead of his sister.
What? Right. Exactly. I mean,
God forbid it's a woman.
You can't trust the women's.
Nuts. I mean,
that's insane, Christina.
One period and they'll start a war.
I know, they're so emotional. Have you ever heard them talk? They're so shrill. Listening to women talk for any amount of time. Who would want to do that?
I want to stab my ears out.
I do love the fact that there are several articles that I've read recently that have shown like the countries that are faring the best in the world right now.
New Zealand
are the ones with women leaders.
Yep.
So
take that as you may,
Franz Ferdinand.
Dude, the history of World War I is so fascinating because it basically is just a bunch of like entitled, like royal dudes who were throwing a fit and then got themselves into a world war and got a bunch of young men killed. Like, that's basically what it was. It's just like, talk about people being emotional. Just literally study the history of World War I and see what got us into that situation. I'm just saying.
Okay. Well, again, as I was saying, the story of suicide couldn't really get out. So the official story released by the court was that that he had died, quote, due to a rupture of an aneurysm of the heart. So, take that.
Oh, yeah. They can't say suicide because they're Catholic, and that's a mortal sin.
That's right. And also, too, I mean, he's the prince, the crown prince.
Yeah.
You don't really want to have
There's a lot of taboo around suicide, even outside of religion. Like, even now, I think that people associate suicide or depression with weakness. It's like it's a moral failing.
Yeah.
Mary, on the other hand, was smuggled out by family and buried at the Holy Cross Abbey in Heiligenkreuz. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with. Heiligenkreuz. Yep. Sure. What truly happened, though, has been up for debate for years. One theory was that they both took strychnine. As I told you, that was kind of the theory that Hoyos had said initially.
Isn't strychnine like hella painful?
I think that's what I've heard.
I think it is.
I've never tried it.
Oh, really?
No. At some point, they also were thought to have been shot, but Mary's body was exhumed in 1955, and the reason for the exhumation was exemption? Nope.
Exhumation?
Exhumation. Yep.
There you go.
That's the word. Was because in the late 40s, after World War II, they had found that her tomb had been looted, so they assumed that they were probably looking for jewels or whatever. So when they all got around to finally figuring that out was around 1955, when they did find where no bullet holes were discovered in her body, which could be, I mean, sure, she could have had no bullets, but by that point, she's probably just a skeleton,
bones.
Right? So who knows if you would even have, I mean, if she was shot and it didn't hit any skeleton or, or any bones. There was a theory that that he was going to break it off with her and that she killed him and then decided to kill herself. There was also a theory going around that she was pregnant at the time and died during an abortion and that he killed himself from the grief. There is a story from another one of his mistresses.
But what would have happened to the... Okay, I guess I don't understand. When I think of like...
who I'm assuming aborted?
Yeah. Unless you're saying that like they gave her a bunch of herbs hoping that it would do something and then she died. I don't know.
Or the doctor did it, and I don't know.
Deuced out. And
this is also 150 years worth of theories and speculation, you know? The one thing that we do have a story from somebody kind of connected, which was that there is a story from another one of his mistresses, his well-known mistresses, Mizzy Casper, that he had tried to make a, quote, love, murder, suicide pact with her that she had declined. So it was her speculation that that is what happened, that it was a murder-suicide pact because he had tried to do that with her. She had just assumed that he was so desperate to commit suicide but didn't want to do it alone. So
what a selfish little man, baby.
Can we talk about how Mizzy Casper is like the best name of all time? And I see Mizzy Casper is always like 76 in my mind.
She smokes for sure.
Smokes. Oh, she's drinking and it's only like 11.
Sherry. She drinks sherry.
Yes. Mizzy Casper, man. She's wearing pantsuits. She's always coiffed.
Yeah,
she has the best stories. She's got a million of these stories. I think Mizzy was a lot of people's mistress.
Totally.
She's like,
Mizzy the mistress.
Let me tell you.
She's got dirt. She's got goss.
She's got permanent tea hair.
In 2015, though, this is the latest information. This is the thing that really turns everything on its head. In 2015, letters were found in a safe deposit box at an Austrian bank from the Baroness of Mary Vetstra to her mother. And this is what the letter said. And by the way, you can see the letter. It's fucking so cool. I mean, 2015. This is like 5 years ago this came out.
That's crazy. Imagine? Like, who had those?
They don't
and for
know.
What purpose?
They just were going through archives, and it had been in there since the 1920s. So somebody had been holding on to it and then eventually put it in a safe deposit box. And it was like archived at some point. And they were going through old archives and found this letter. The letter says, "Dear Mother, please forgive me for what I've done. I could not resist love. In accordance with him, I want to be buried next to him in the cemetery of Aland. I am happier in death than life."
This is why 17-year-olds shouldn't be allowed to do things. Because you're not mature enough to be able to make a decision like that at all. No. Like, that's not how love works, sweetheart. Like, just because this, like, 30-year-old... man-child has managed to convince you that this is the thing to do, this Romeo and Juliet bullshit. Like,
it really is a Romeo and Juliet-ish story, isn't it? Like, the idea for her, for sure.
For her,
like
I think on her side,
just like,
I don't think he cared who it was. He just needed a seat filler. You know what I mean? But for her, yeah, I think, and I do think that there is this, like, it's been happening since Romeo and Juliet, different forms of media. You know, we talk about it a lot in our Crazy in Love and the way that those, like, influence our, like, decisions in life. But there has been this, like, romanticized, like, idea of tragic love. You know what I mean? Like, it's beautiful. It's like, no, it's not beautiful. This fucking dude was just too chicken shit to kill himself by himself and needed to take a 17-year-old down with him. Like, come on.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, so that was my. Well, okay. So
I feel like I have to give like a disclaimer. We were hard on the dudes this episode because of the stories we read/told. And I do think that we usually do a pretty good job. We tell stories of like women behaving badly on this podcast.
Oh,
and stuff. It just happened.
Soon.
It just happened to be that all of the stories are just like dudes being assholes this time.
Sorry, guys.
Sorry, guys.
Name of the episode. Sorry, guys.
Exactly.
What are you guys watching right now?
Well, first of all, and this ties into what I'm watching. My friend Sienna, who I love deeply, she is catching up on episodes, and she listened to the one where I said I was watching Ozark. Great show. And I said that I loved it partially because I'm like, oh yeah, I know these people. Like I'm from the Ozarks. Like I know these people. And she's like, Keegan, you have to give a disclaimer that's like hashtag not all Ozarkians. And so let me put that out there because I do want to say, yes, if you've watched the show Ozark and you've never been to the Ozarks, do those people exist? Yes, they do. Is that everybody? No, it isn't. And that ties into what I've currently been watching because the woman who plays Ruth in Ozark is also in Waco. And I watched all of Waco. That actress is amazing. I love her. I finished it. I finished Waco last weekend. It is so good. It is so good. I highly recommend watching it. The actors are all amazing. If you watched Boardwalk Empire, there are so many repeats from Boardwalk Empire. I swear to God, they took like half the cast. It must be the same casting director. The only thing I mean, there are, of course, things that you could criticize about it and about its portrayal of the Branch Davidians or whatever. But what I will say is if you are trying to have a feel-good evening, maybe not. I came out of watching that series just flames. I was so pissed. Maybe I shouldn't say flames because that's bad. It was bad. Yeah. Anyway, I felt bad. I felt terrible.
Keegan, too soon.
I'm sorry. But it just made me furious. It made me furious. And I think it's worth watching. Anyway.
I've been binging Barry, and I'm, everybody on this podcast knows how I feel about Bill Hader, first and foremost.
Who's that? I'm just kidding.
Exactly. My future ex-husband. He's so funny. And that show, I mean, I think because we've all been in theater or around theater in our life, it's
triggering is what it is.
It's
oh my God.
Pretty fucking close to home, man. It's really fucking funny.
Oh, yes.
It's so funny.
If you've ever taken a theater class, or it's particularly like an improv class, if you have ever, it will hit you so fucking hard. And I think that that's maybe why I never finished it. And I enjoyed it. And it was very clear to me that like it's a very funny and well done show. But I watched like the first couple episodes and I felt like I was getting like acting school flashbacks. Like I was just like, oh, it was like bombs dropping, like PTSD.
Yeah. It's definitely like a funny Dexter. And I think that that's why I like it, it still has a little bit of that tension, like is he gonna get caught, but it's also really funny, and the characters are just, I mean, we have a NoHo Hank plant now on our garden. we that's my favorite character like of all time. Yeah, so yeah, I mean, now we have a NoHo Hank.
And Barry is one of those shows like Bosch where it's like it's a love letter to Los Angeles. And so if you're an Angelino, I love watching shit like that because you catch all of the like Easter eggs, the things that other people won't catch necessarily. Yeah. What
about you, Cass?
Well, Chris and I just finished watching Dead to Me. We just watched second season, which was so good. Oh, dude.
I love those
women. If you guys haven't watched the second season, it is fucking chef's kiss. And what I've been binging recently, just on my own and with or without Chris, is My Cat from Hell, the Jackson Galaxy.
I love My Cat from Hell. Oh my God, it is so good.
I've never watched that show, and I am like
it taught me so many things. I watched it like a few years ago, and I remember I still like use some of the things that he suggests on that show. Where I do like if I'm trying to put my cats at ease, I do the slow blink. Have you seen the slow blink?
Yes.
I do the slow blink with my cats. I gotta learn that from Jackson.
There's an episode I'm going to send to Anthony about his rough playing with.
I know. Thank you so much. Please do send it.
I mean, I love Hicks, but you can tell he's been rough played with. Like, he's got that hand aggression, like playtime. You can tell. Yeah, we'll talk. No, I'm just kidding. Obsessed.
No,
I'm completely obsessed with that show now. Like,
I'm so glad that you said that because I've been looking for like a new animal show. I love having an animal show to like fall asleep to.
Have you ever seen it?
I've seen like one episode like forever ago, so I'm totally stoked. I'm going to look it up.
If you want another animal show on Netflix, there's the show 72 Cutest Animals. And each episode, they just go through like 5 different animals and they tell you like all their cute, and they're not always necessarily cute animals either. Like there's like the capybara and they just like tell you all of the cute things that the capybara does. And then at the end,
that's awesome.
And then they do it in like brackets. So by the time you get to the last episode, you're in like the top 10 cute animals. It's amazing.
Aww.
You have to watch it.
Oh my God. This is the content we need right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
I need feel good stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I need like really light,
not Waco.
Beautiful. The world is beautiful kind of thing.
It's not Waco. Don't do it.
Not Waco.
Note to self, not Waco. Got it. That's awesome.
Oh man. Well, if you guys have any stories that you want to share with us because you're bored and in quarantine and finally have the time to write them, if you have shows to recommend, if you want to join our Facebook group, go to our one-stop shop of a website. It's myworstdatepodcast.com.
Hold on. I do want to say before, I'm sorry to like interrupt your spiel, but I did want to say that we participated in the Outlier Podcast Festival's virtual live show or virtual summit. They did an entire festival. I'm so impressed with the way that they managed to do it. They had speakers, they had panelists, and we did a live show for their virtual summit. It was so much fun. Thank you so much to Ariel and Ever for getting that whole thing together. But they did record our session, and we will be getting that here in a couple of weeks, and we will be putting it up on our Patreon. So if that was something that you wanted to see and you missed it, we will be putting it up on our Patreon at the $1 level. So we'll let you know, and if you want to join, please do that.
Yeah. So, yeah, big shout out because that was a lot of fun, even though I somehow live with the fact that I brought up cocaine and anal.
Within like 5 minutes of the beginning
quickly,
of the...
Right after I just said I don't want to say F, I said F instead of fuck, marry, kill.
Oh my God.
You were like you talked about doing cocaine off a steering wheel, and I was like, oh, my mom's watching this.
Oh, no.
I know. Oh my God. Oh, no. I'm so sorry, Tammy. I'm so sorry.
No, she texted me after and said that we were adorable, so I guess she didn't mind.
Oh, so yeah, it's definitely worth a watch if you want to see what we look like when we're actually recording these things. The facial expressions definitely, I think, add to it.
She was wearing the Who Raised You shirt.
So yeah, we really appreciate you guys for listening through this whole situation, and we love you so much.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is a Glass Box Media Podcast.